What is going on, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics. Hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. Got everything that you wanted. Hopefully Ho-Ho brought it down the chimney and you found it underneath the tree yesterday. I got one hobby-related gift. My wife actually watched my gift guide that I did and I got a light box. So I got to get that set up and monkey around with that. I never had a light box before, but I now have a light box. So hopefully you got something hobby related, maybe a box, maybe a single, maybe a slab, maybe a comic book, maybe some Star Wars cards, who knows? But hopefully Santa brought what you wanted underneath the tree. We will try to keep this one short and sweet today. I am recording this very late on Saturday after a very long Christmas day. So, news stuff. The big two major things this week was the surprise PSA drop. So if you missed that, did a couple videos on that. With the surprise economy service of $50 a card. They kind of threw that out, put the bat signal up on social media. Bing, bang, boom, happened fast. Seems like everyone got 5-card allocation. And it seems like if you wanted in, you got in, was the vibe that I got. I don't think I heard from a person that tried to get into the second drop later in the afternoon that did not get through. Maybe there's someone out there and I'm just missing it, but the first drop earlier in the afternoon seemed like it had some tech issues, and then they figured that out in the second drop in the afternoon, and it seems like everyone that wanted in and got 5 cards. So nice little Christmas gift there. And it sounds like the regular service at $100 a card will be back this week for everybody, is what they alluded to. So if you have cards you need to send in at the $100 service, make sure you are following them on social, because that is how they are going to notify you. It's not going to be via email, I don't believe. It'll be Twitter, IG, Facebook, that sort of stuff. So make sure you're following them on social if you have cards you want to submit at 100. I don't think I do, but I'm going to glance around tomorrow or today, being Sunday, and see if I could track anything down. The other newsy thing this week was the PWCC stuff. We talked about that on Friday. Them going to a weekly format, 10-day auctions, rolling 10-day auctions, essentially, with them ending every Sunday night. But with the 20% buyer's premium instead of seller fees. So a lot of good debate in the comments on that one on Friday's video. I don't really have anything new to touch on that one. But we'll see what happens with that. I'll be curious to see, are prices getting a 20% discount because of the 20% buyer's premium? We'll find out. That's pretty much it for the news stuff. We're going to go ahead and dive into some charts and graphs here. Market movers, link in the description down below. Coupon codes. You guys and girls know the jazz by now. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't while you're down there. But before we do, we have a quick message once again from our friends over at MySlabs who are sponsoring today's video. We don't have the little commercial that we normally run because they have a giveaway going on right now. A few different items on their giveaway and a couple different ways that you can enter it. The first one is a ASM 300 first appearance of Venom in a CGC 9.0 white pages. One of the books on a list somewhere of mine. I would like to own one of these one day, and anything really a 9 or above I'd be pretty happy with. This one is given away if you follow them on Instagram and then you like and share the post. That's it. Real simple. Chance to win an ASM 300 CGC 9.8. Absolutely iconic McFarlane cover. If comic books aren't your thing, which I get, comic books aren't everyone's thing, they also have some sports card giveaways going on right now as well. 2 different ones, both for the same card. Steph Curry Prism PSA 10 2012, first year Prism Steph Curry. This one, if you follow them on Twitter and retweet the post, that's it. You're entered. And all these are going to be given away on New Year's Eve, or winner to be announced on New Year's Eve. So hop into this one if you're on Twitter for a chance at that card. And you also have a second shot at that card, same card, 2012 Steph Curry PSA 10 Prism, by following them on Instagram as well and liking and sharing that post. So go check out MySlabs on IG. Go check them out on Twitter. Like, share the post, retweet, depending on what platform you're on, and you are entered for a chance of one of these 3 items to be drawn on New Year's Eve. I personally would like the ASM 300. I'm not entering. Give you guys and girls all a fair shot to get on this, but If you're not familiar with MySlabs, home of 1% seller fees, and then you just use PayPal goods and services to cover everything else. Absolutely fantastic platform. They are very stringent about enforcing rules, like for non-payers and stuff like that. They get booted off the platform fairly quickly. And same thing with sellers trying to pull any types of shenanigans. They are removed very quickly. So just nice, clean, easy transactions over there. I've bought and sold quite a bit on the platform and have never had trouble on either end. Like compared to some other platforms out there. We shall not name names. But yeah, go check out MySlabs.com if you have it. And also go check out their socials. Give them a follow, retweets, and shares for a chance to win some cool stuff. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and dive into some charts and graphs. First up, basketball, then a little football, and then we might briefly touch on some baseball. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. It's late at night. Basketball, I would like to, this upcoming week is going to be a lot of best of, worst of, predictions, that sort of stuff. You know, looking back at the past year, looking forward to the year ahead. That's what most of this week's content is going to be. I'm going to try to steal a day. I would like to do an NBA market deep dive. I know I did the 60-day recap not too long ago. I'd like to do a little shorter term one because, to be quite honest with you, the modern NBA market has really come down a lot in the last 5 to 14 days ish. A lot of stuff has come way down. And there's more than I want to talk about than just a couple cards in this video. So I want to do a little bit of a deeper look into it. So look for that maybe Monday or Tuesday of this week. We'll kind of mix that in with some other stuff going on. A couple things are going up. Most are going down to flat. But some things are still trending slightly upward or picking back up. LeBron Topps Chrome PSA 10 did have a little uptick. This is looking back at 14 days on this one. Over the last 14 days, it is up 12%, up to 1,300. Was bouncing around a little bit. Was at 12, down to 11, now back up to 13. It seems to have basically settled in between these two numbers, 11 to 13. This card will vary in price a little bit on how good centering looks. Like a little well-centered one will go slightly better. Some of the PSA 10s, get that 60-40 centering that they allow, might go for a little bit less. But in general, these cards seem to be floating around this price. They seem to have hit their floor around this 11 to 12 to 13K price point, with this one slightly ticking up. We will see if it holds when the next one sells, or if it dips back down again. But LeBron is back and playing. He'd been out for a while, obviously, but now the thing is, AD's out for a good portion of the season. I don't know. They're probably a play-in team, is what I'm thinking, but that Lakers team's a mess. I will say, the Cavs fan in me thoroughly enjoys the Twitter snark about LeBron requesting a trade back to the Cavs sometime this season. It's not serious at all, but as a Cavs fan, I just enjoy seeing that on Twitter, that the Cavs are a much better positioned team than the Lakers are right now. I get a kick out of that. I enjoy that. Zion Silver PSA 10. This, for the time being, has also appeared to maybe establish itself its new floor price. It got down to 1,600 a couple days ago. It did spike back up. 2 consecutive sales put it back up over 18. And now the last sale was back to 17. We're kind of in a holding pattern with Zion. We know he's going to be out for a while. I'm still will be surprised if he plays this season. Maybe he sneaks back in the spring sometime. We'll see. I don't know. Once we get so late in the season, I just can't see him bringing him back. But at some point in time, if you're not getting any more news on the player and he's just declared out for the season, then the price should just kind of level off and sit. That's usually what we see in these cases when guys are done for the year. So we'll see where he ends up settling in. But right now, it dipped as low as 16, kind of bounced off that number back up and slipped back down to 17. We'll see where it goes from here. Does the next sell back down to 16, or does it stay at that 1,700 level? We'll be interested to track that and see where he kind of levels off, or maybe he already has leveled off until we get more news, good, bad, or indifferent on Zion. Next up, LaMelo. Silver PSA 10 Prism. Once again, a very low population on these. Definitely an issue with this card directly from the manufacturer, as most of the other silver PSA 10 pops are a little bit higher than this one, or quite a bit higher than this one. Only 58 on the pop report. I almost said census. You can tell my brain space has been in the comic book world a lot lately. I almost said census on LaMelo, but pop count on LaMelo at 58. Last 3 sales have been trending down. December 15th, we have it at 3.8K. Then we have it at 3.2K, and most recently at 2.9K. Actually, just saw one posted on MySlabs for $29.99 right before recording this video. The Hornets have lost a little bit of their luster from the beginning of this season. They're still playing okay. He's cooled way off from what he was. He's still playing pretty good, but from what he was doing at the beginning of the season, which he's playing out of his mind to begin the season. But the shine has kind of come off the Hornets a little bit. And his prices have cooled. And also, as I mentioned earlier, the modern NBA market has been tough to hold up prices pretty much in anything. That being said, one player did see, there's some cards that went up this week, but the one that saw the biggest bump probably of the more modern guys, Kobe White. PSA 10 Silver Prism. Now, I will say, you see on this graph, this one all the way up here for 157, we'll see there are... When I looked at this very quickly, I think there were some binge cheaper than this. So this might be a little bit of an outlier. That being said, most of the current auctions running were well above this $100 number. So I'll see where the next one comes in at. You can see this got all the way down to $50. This is his PSA 10 Silver. He recently came back. I believe it was on the 20th. I think it was here. He had a really big game. They had a bunch of players in health and safety protocols. He got some time to shine, dropped like 25. I forget on who. And it causes prices to spike back up as he got a bunch of run with everyone in health and safety protocols. We will see if he can hold it. That's a very deep Bulls team. Maybe with everyone in and out of health and safety protocols, he could continue to carve out some playing time. He was very popular last year. I didn't necessarily see it. He kind of seems like a one-trick pony. You know, kind of like I feel like I throw everyone in this bucket, but like to me, he reminds me of a Lou Williams type player. You know, a perfect 6th man of the year, 7th guy off the bench, someone like that. Come out, get some instant offense with the second unit, and kind of carry a second unit, and then go back to your bench role. You're probably not closing out games. That's kind of how I envision him. Those guys typically don't have a lot of hobby value. If this is me, and don't have any to sell, I would use this as an opportunity to get out of the Kobe White that I did have if I was still holding him. Once again, mileage may vary for what you're into and what you have. Do your own homework, do your own research. But if it was me and I had Kobe White, I would use this as an opportunity to try to move his stuff. Maybe you're not going to get top dollar for it, but there's also something to be said that just a player is liquid at the current point in time. Even if his prices aren't super high, just the player being liquid, as in people looking to buy his stuff. So, will it hold? I don't know. Will he go back to being, minimized once everyone is back and healthy? I don't know that either. So I definitely wouldn't be buying. He's just not the type of player that I want to put money into. I'm sure some people will disagree with me on that. I would use this as a selling opportunity on Kobe. Hopping over to football. Oh, Mac Jones, PSA 10 Don Russ. How I adore this card. We've talked about this card a bunch on the channel. This is over the last 14 days. Woof! Look at that. Looks like a ski slope. 160 of these have sold in the last 2 weeks, and it is down 50%. 850 at the start. I'm sorry, 560 at the start, ending at 278, and just a straight downward decline. We'll see where it levels off at. In my opinion, 277 is still high. Also, look at the pop on this card. Almost 1,000 now. Boy, that didn't take long. When you click on this, using the handy little market movers tool that does the PSA tracking data, over the last 7 days, just in the last week, 237 have been added onto the population report. A 32% increase. Over the last 30 days, it's 802. So That's 90% of the population, almost 80% of the population. 80% of the population has basically been added in the last 30 days. And that was the most graded card PSA said that they graded, in the last period. I forget when that was that they mentioned that, but man, oh man, this card. What a ride this thing has been on. Let me pull back to 30 days really quickly here. Just look at that. Whew. From the glory days of it being a $2,200 card down to $277. I really wish there was a way to short sports cards, because this thing was, I mean, everyone could see this coming a mile away. I would be very curious to know how many of these were legit bought, sold, paid for, and not returned under the 3-day eBay return policy. I would love to know that. Love to know that. We'll never know. We'll never know. But whew, 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 whew. What a ride that card's been on. Patrick Mahomes, PSA 10 Silver Prism. I had last week when we talked about this card, it had this one random dip for 6.4K, and it shot right back up again on the 18th at 7.8. And then it kind of just did its thing for the next few days, staying around that high 7K mark. And then the week of Christmas came, and it dropped back down to 6.5, and another sale at 6.2 on Christmas Eve. So, this was the outlier, popped back up, but now it's right back down to this level again. I'll be curious to see what this looks like over the next week. Maybe some of it will be dictated on how they play this weekend. Who knows? But back down to around 6K. And the Chiefs, they're not the Chiefs that we used to know and love, like, just slinging the ball all over the place. But they have been winning a lot lately. They've just been winning on the more ugly side. But, that could set him up for a deep playoff run. We will see. And then, does his prices spike based off a long playoff run? You would think that they would. They have in the past, but we're not in the Wild West anymore when it comes to sports cards. So, maybe this is the new norm that he's going to level off at around 6K. We'll see. We shall see. Next up, just another interesting one. And I know this is out of a lot of people's leagues. And I know, I've gotten some comments before about why do you always look at like the upper, higher end, mid-tier to upper stuff. And the reason is, even a lot of this stuff, I can't afford a Tom Brady Bowman Chrome PSA 10, but it still gives you a general vibe of the overall health of things. If the high-end stuff's not performing well, you look at some mid-end silver prisms and that stuff's not performing well, it obviously means the base stuff and lower-end stuff is probably also not performing well. And also, in a lot of cases, the upper tier, especially like the silvers, you see this in Prism all the time, silver prisms, optic hollows, that sort of stuff kind of lead the market trends. Usually whatever they do, whether it's spiking up or spiking down, usually will be breaking the ice and everything else of that player will follow. So if you see a certain player's silver prism crash, that usually means, and their other stuff hasn't crashed yet, that usually means it's coming. And on the flip side, usually stuff like this will go up first because it's the most popular, well-known card, whether it's a Brady Bowman Chrome or a Lucas Silver Prism. That's the one people run to first. So those cards tend to spike first, and you'll usually see the trend lines with those. And then sometimes you can latch on to what got left behind and has not gone up yet. So even though I might not necessarily be buying these cards, a lot of these cards that I look at are more for a macro level look at how the general market is doing. So I hope that just kind of explains my thought process when I pick cards for this video. I mean, I'll pick interesting stuff if a certain player goes off, like Kobe White, or like the Mac Jones thing. Like, I'm going to look at that Mac Jones card every week for the next month, probably, just to kind of see what it's doing. It's kind of like a poster card of the channel at this point. So just some logic for how I choose kind of like what cards I look at in here. I have a whole research process that I go through, but just kind of where my headspace is, because I get questions on that every once in a while. Tom Brady Bowman Chrome PSA 10 had a little dip this week. Only 2 sales, once again going back 14 days, but the last one went for 21K, and then one just recently on the 19th went for 19,000 even. So a little bit of a drop there, 10%, 2K difference. I've seen these dip below 20K before, and then they usually go right back up. We'll see what this one does. Brady had a bad game last week. Maybe it's just as simple as that. impacting his prices a little bit. That seems crazy to me that one bad Tampa Bay Buccaneers Brady game would cause a 10% decrease in his prices when he has the resume of resumes attached to him. But who knows? People are stupid. Closing out baseball, nothing really crazy happening in baseball. We'll keep this one short and sweet. I did the video earlier this week about the 60-day, baseball market, review thing. Nothing's changed in the last week since I did that video earlier this past week. It's, for the most part, fairly stagnant / flat. Nothing's really cratering, but nothing's really spiking way up either. Once again, we will see what happens. Typically, like I said, I've said this a bunch, last year at this time, this week between Christmas and New Year's, is when baseball kind of took off a little bit. Now, we have the lockout this year, and the sports card market is in a different place. I keep saying those two things. So I'll be curious to see where baseball goes from now as we move throughout February. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys and girls. If you didn't check out, I did end up dropping a Christmas video yesterday. I was not planning on it. So if you did miss that, and I don't blame you if you did, I had a big mail day video yesterday. A lot of fun stuff in that video. Hit on pretty much everything. There was 2 sports cards in that video, 2 non-sports cards in that video, and a comic book in that video. So you get all of it. All of it is in that video. So I encourage you to swing back and check that one out if you missed it. And like I said earlier, upcoming this week, a lot of looking back at the past year and making some predictions for the year ahead. We got at least probably 1 or 2 videos on some predictions for the upcoming year in the world of sports cards, maybe in comic books, and just kind of see where it goes. I am planning on, I don't know the night yet. It's either going to be Tuesday or Wednesday, but like I said, I will give everyone advance notice on this. I'm going to try to put together like an end of the year live stream type thing Tuesday or Wednesday night. And throw the net out to a bunch of people to see if anyone wants to randomly pop on. People that have been on the channel before on various live streams or videos, just to see if they kind of want to chat about the past year of whatever it is that their area of expertise is in, and look ahead to the future and just generally kind of hang out. I'm off work this week, so and then I have a box of Marvel Series 3 to rip. Not sure when that's going to happen yet. I thought about maybe doing a daytime live stream, but it's just going to depend on. I'm going to lay out a content schedule today for the upcoming week and figure out exactly what I want to do for the next 5 days. So if I can't squeeze the live stream in this week, I'm going to plan on doing it New Year's Day. So if I can't do a live stream for the box break, I will plan on doing it Saturday morning on New Year's Day. I don't usually do much on New Year's Day anyway. So I'll get up Saturday morning and we'll do that for like Saturday morning cartoons before all the bowl games start. So like, comment, subscribe. Lots of good stuff coming to close out the year. Catch you on the next one. Peace.